It's vitally important that you have an absolute impassioned, even obsessive aim in life. And we tend to shy away from terms like obsession. We think it's something that needs to be diagnosed and treated. But my contention is that if you look at people who you regard as heroes, whoever they may be, whether it's Nelson Mandela or Helen Keller or Gandhi or whomever, you'll almost always find that that individual had one vital principle that he or she lived and died for. I always tell people to be very careful with simple ideas, because when we hear simple ideas, it can strike us like, I get it, I have a goal, I already do that. Do you? Do you? Take a second look, take a yellow light, and really question that within yourself, because very often we get into habits repeating things to ourselves by rote. I like my job, I like to travel, I'd like a family. Would you? Would you? Traveling and family can be in conflict. There's nothing wrong with a conflict, but if you don't want to be torn in two, you might want to just take a look at that. It's intimate, it's private. You don't have to share with anybody what you found. But too often we condition what we call our goals because we think, frankly, they may sound selfish, they may sound embarrassing, they may sound narcissistic. Concentration and focus on one thing is to the psyche what stress resistance is to the muscles. It's profoundly important. It's in fact the only way that you really get somewhere. People like me have to come to terms with the fact that Trump is a product of the positive thinking culture. There's no running away from that. I think what you have with Trump is someone who dedicated his life to the amoral pursuit of power and who discovered instinctively all the things that I'm saying, that these methods really do work. The assertion of your own reality, and it can be quite frightening, is extremely effective. People would say that Steve Jobs would assert his own reality. He would place demands on his engineers that were considered impossible, but things would happen. Henry Ford was said to assert his own reality. In the case of Trump, you have a figure who's completely amoral, who's possessed, in my opinion, of nothing other than an appetite for destruction and the accumulation of power for its own sake, who nonetheless has discovered instinctively the effectiveness of some of these ideas. And I would say, rather than people shaking their head and saying, isn't that terrible? Look what positive thinking has given us. My attitude is, you're an individual functioning in this world exactly as he is. Where's your sense of personal agency? Where's your sense of accomplishment? These same exact methods that are used by a Trump can be used by a person who's on an authentic search, who has an authentic and burning and deep sense of question and guardrails, and who wishes to get things done in the world.